Hello everyone, this is Brother Frosali in front of you, and today we have the guest from Germany. He is the guy who has been from last 10 years in content creation, and he even got a lot of insights and experience in content creation. He actually talks about where is the creator economy is going right now.
I do think everybody can have content nowadays. I think content is essentially just almost a new form of a website, really. Right. It's the new form of who you are.
He talks about what kind of skills that we need to learn if you want to get ahead in your career.
So the most important thing is not the gadgets, the gear, the technical skills. It is your ability to deal with people. That's the most important skill set.
He talks about motivation, discipline. He talks about how we can be focused on one task at a time in the world of distraction.
And there's a few questions here. Let's break this down. Number one, in a world of information, with all this information, it doesn't take a lot to stand out. All you have to do is connect with people, and you're already so far ahead of what other people are doing, which they're just trying to talk at people. So straight away, you can stick out already just by being real.
The whole podcast got a lot of value, and I just wanted you to also listen to this podcast till the end. The timestamps are given below if you want to move around. If you will like this video, then hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. And here is the video, guys. So hey Alessandro, how's it doing there?
Good, doing well.
Today we have to solve a lot of questions of the people.
For sure. I'm glad to talk to you today. It's really cool. I think we connected over Instagram, and I think it's great to have a conversation all across the world.
Yes, it's a great thing that Instagram did and Mark Zuckerberg did for us. Okay, Alexander, just introduce yourself to the audience.
For sure. So I'm Alessandro Frosali. Basically, I am a creative and filmmaker. I think filmmaking is probably my biggest, it's what I'm known for, essentially. So I've got a degree in filmmaking, everything like that. But the real crux of it is I've been making content for maybe 15 years. Started off as a musician, then went into filmmaking, and then as I did it more and more, I started having so many people going, well, wow, how do you get so much attention, and how can I do that for myself? And then as I started getting that question a lot, I just started helping people out. And all of a sudden, after a few years, I realized I had an agency and I was doing that for work. And I really just enjoyed creating and making other people's visions visible. So I think that's what I do now. Now we've got Frosali Creative. Me and my wife run Frosali Creative, which is a digital content and video agency. And we try and make people's visions visible.
It's actually a great inspiring story that you have a filmmaking interest and you did your education in that. Then you started your journey and people wanted to know how they can also do the same thing. That's an interesting thing. And nowadays what happens, I think everyone needs to create content. If anybody, it could be a doctor, it could be a teacher, anyone need to have express themselves on the internet so that they will get more opportunities. Like I explained myself, I started creating content. I got to know about you and I met to you just because of content. The content is the thing that network people, that making people expressive. That's actually great thing. I just wanted to know on your thoughts about content creation. Who need to do the content creation?
For sure.
And why we need to do content creation?
Well, I think I don't think that it has to be a need to do content creation, but think of it this way. I think we as a society have become more and more staying at home. We've done more and more looking on a phone, less and less of going out. So I think in the past, maybe even, a short period of time, your whole day is spent outside no matter what you do. You go and buy your food outside, you go and do everything outside. With everything becoming more online and digitized, it's harder and harder for people to see you outside. You're going to work and you come home. And then how else are you going to get seen? If you're going to spend most of your time on a phone, you want to start actually getting your content, your brand, your ID, your business in front of eyeballs. And how you do that is through content. You do that through getting in front of them on their phone. So that's why it's becoming more and more necessary. I think if we get more and more digitized as a society, we're going to need to do more and more content as a society to get seen.
Right? Totally agree with you. And nowadays what happens, people are getting I agree with your point that we should create a content for having connection very closely. It's the depending on the people what kind of content they are creating. But I have this question that people are more and more having the dependency on their parents or sometimes on their society, and people are depending on their politicians, that okay, any politician party will make the change, my parents will help me and I have the change will not happen when you can accept the reality and starting doing different that you're not done yet. That's the thing that we should take our own responsibility. I just wanted to know your takes on it.
I mean, I think it becomes more and more clear. You can see it from every thought leader or entrepreneur will probably tell you this, that there's no one else that's going to save you. If you want something done, you got to do it yourself. Like, essentially, that's what it comes down to. But I think it's especially so on content and everything like that. I mean, you could literally recreate your own life any way you want if you go ahead and actually put the work in. But I think, I was having a conversation about this literally this morning with my stepfather. We were talking about how nowadays, I don't actually think it takes a lot to stand out. It just takes doing work. Because we're so used to seeing, as we talk about digitizing worlds, we talk about a world where things are becoming more online. We're really good at talking. We're really good at saying that, oh, I'm good at this and I'm good at that and selling, but we're not really good at doing the work. And I think if we can cultivate that and people can actually just learn how to do the work, they can do whatever they want. They can make all of the content that they need to. They'll find out how to do it and they'll get out there and build their own lives. But yeah, I mean, my point of view is that I do think some people have really difficult situations and it's hard to just tell them, oh, you have to pull yourself out of it. So I'm always there to educate and help, and I'll always try and help people who feel like they can't. But in the end, even people who are going to help you, they're not going to save you. The decision has to come from yourself to want to do that.
So you meant to say the content creation is the thing that only specific kind of people need to do, or something like?
No, not necessarily. I think I do think everybody can have content nowadays. I think content is essentially just almost a new form of a website, really. Right. It's the new form of who you are. And instead of, because we want to see more, we want to see authenticity, we want to see who you are really. We don't read that on a company file. We don't read that on a document about them. We watch it now. So if you want to know who somebody is, you don't look at their website, you look at their Instagram page.
Yes.
And that's why content is important.
Yeah. And according to me, content creation is something like that, which builds some skills in you. Like if you start content creation, you learn how to communicate with the people. You start expressing yourself. Mm-hmm. You start being authentic for yourself also and to the people also that you're sharing the content with. So
you say that, but there's some people also who can get a little bit inauthentic through content as well. There is a lesson to learn there as well. It's not just you do content and you become more authentic. Sometimes you do content and you become less authentic because you think you have to be somebody that you're not. So there is a danger there as well. But I do agree with you. I think making content does give you a lot of skill
set, right?
Especially because it creates a skill set, but it gets to the heart of the matter. The most important thing for me is that if you don't know why you're doing something, making content will make you realize very quickly if you're doing it for show, if you're doing it because you love it, and if you're doing it because either you just want money or you have no passion or anything like that. So it does reveal things about yourself by making
content, right? Total right. But what kind of skills that a content creator needs to learn if they want, or somebody in general, anyone who want to have a great career ahead, what kind of skills they need to learn according to you?
The most important thing, actually, it has nothing to do. I mean, I teach filmmaking, I teach editing, I teach lighting, I teach sound, but all of it means nothing when it comes down to people. The industry is people. It is understanding how people work, connecting with people, and knowing what to make people stop scrolling. Why they would watch you or why you want to connect with them, the way that you connect with them, the way that you message them, the help that you give, the value that you give, all of that is so much more important than technical skills. Right now, how we're talking, I have a phone turned on its side, right? And if there was no microphone here, you would still hear me and the message would be getting across. So the most important thing is not the gadgets, the gear, the technical skills. It is your ability to deal with people. That's the most important skill set by far.
Okay, so you mean to say कि people have to do content creation because the skill of content creation is not just a technical thing. How you building the community, how you providing the value to the society is the content creation, or it is the main skill that you need to have.
I mean, it's not even. I think sometimes there's a mistake. A lot of people straight away think that, oh, I'm talking to society, and yes, you are, but what you're really doing is talking one-on-one. The person, you might not feel it, you might be recording and let's say only 3 people see it, but that's like having conversation with 3 people. That's the skill that I'm talking about. It's this one-on-one thing. You're actually addressing people here, and I think if you start thinking about that, it changes the way that you do it. You're not just trying to sell, or you're not just trying to be somebody you're not. It's like you're having conversations. And having conversations it's a really important skill. And I think I would love people to think of content creation that way.
Right. I agree. One more question is that, and I think so a lot of people have this same question. A lot of people are creating content nowadays. Creator economy is going to hit $25 billion economy. And people are just creating content on the feed. And nowadays, people are getting confused because they have a lot of information. And if you have a lot of information, your brain is not able to focus on one thing, I think so. So if anybody want to start and any kind of a great valued project, but because of the lot of information, people are getting information a lot, and that's distracting you from your main goal and distracting you from your main project. The question is that how we can be focused on one task or a one project where in a world of information. Yes, that's the correct question.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, I remember when I said, it reveals what you want when you make content. I would find out why you're doing something and just stick to that and stop watching as much of other people. And there's a few questions here. Let's break this down. Number one, in a world of information, with all this information, it doesn't take a lot to stand out. All you have to do is connect with people, and you're already so far ahead of what other people are doing, which they're just trying to talk at people. So straight away, you can stick out already just by being real, just by caring about the person on the other side and giving value. So one, you can stick out that way. But if it's not always just about sticking out. It's about achieving your goal online. So I can only speak about my goal. I know my goal is I want to help as many people as possible make their visions come to life. And what I'm good at is I'm good at getting attention. I'm good at finding out how people finding the strengths in people and bringing them out. So what I do is I try and make people's visions visible because that's in my skill set and it's what I love to do. Now, I know that anything that I'm doing that is helping people get their visions visible means that I am being authentic to myself. So I will just continue saying that, giving value. And I don't need to look at anybody else's stuff. The times I'm most depressed, the times I'm most feeling like I'm not doing the right thing, the times I'm feeling like, oh, am I doing, like questioning myself? They all come from when I compare myself to other people.
Totally agree.
It's only when I have woken up and I look at my phone first of anything and I look at all this other stuff and I see some guy has just posted a picture of himself with a real trending sound above saying, this is how I got 30,000 likes and followers in 1 minute. And then I look at that and then I start, then you start doubting yourself and you're going, should I make content like that? And then you try and make content like that and it does terribly and you go, oh, what happened? It's because you've just compared yourself to somebody else and you've stepped away from what's actually your goal. And if you just stick with what your goal is, people after a while see it. They feel it. They go, wow, I believe in that. And if you're patient and you can just ignore other people, you'll be more than fine.
right? It means you're saying that we have to focus on ourselves. We have to compare ourselves, the ourselves of yesterday ones. Like, I just need to be more. I just wanted to learn something. I just wanted to grow from the yesterday version of myself. That's the thing. It means we have to compare by. It's a you versus you, not you versus someone else. That's the thing. And when you having this kind of mindset, you should. You will not going to distract from your project. And actually you also mentioned the concept of Ikigai, of what kind of things that you learn, what kind of things that you have the passion on, what world needs. That's the Ikigai concept that you just explained. I totally agree with your point.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we've all seen it before. I think anyone in the content game has done a lot of watching content, and there's a lot of people out there who all say the same thing. So we know this stuff. It's not like we don't know it. We all know it. We see it, but it's hard to put into practice. And I think it's hard to put into practice because of those two things: because of the patience, because we want things now, and because of the comparison. And if you take patience, and they're both kind of the same thing, because you're impatient because you're comparing. So it's this back and forth, and you're comparing because you're impatient. So if we were to solve those two things, I feel like life is a very different experience.
Yes, definitely. Because what happens nowadays, people are getting follow people the motivational pages. So if someday when they feel low, they start opening their phone and scrolling to the reels, and when they are just searching for the motivation dose. So what we need to have exactly in real life? Is it that motivation or discipline? Because nowadays, one trend is happening called 75 days hard challenge. So it's the mental toughness that you are challenging yourselves to be into the discipline and having your things done. So it's a great thing that a lot of people are initiated. But the question here is that we should get a regular motivation dose, or we need to have the discipline to achieve our goals.
Why is it either or? Why is it either or? Like, this is the question. It's such an interesting thing of going, is it motivation or is it discipline? Why can't it be both? And you'll see it so many times with everybody where they go, oh, no, motivation sucks. You see it even on motivational channels. Motivation sucks, it's just discipline. And then you see whole things of motivation. The thing is, we are humans, and humans sometimes have low periods. And in our low periods, it's really hard to be disciplined. And we have this thing of motivation, and people can motivate us. They can give fire in our belly to go do something. But then we need to learn the skills of discipline to maintain that fire that we got from the motivation. It's not one or the other, because discipline means nothing without a fire, right? You need a spark. You need to bring it up to life. You need to actually have a fire going. Discipline keeps a fire going. So you can't have discipline by itself because you have no fire. And motivation starts fire, but it doesn't keep it going. So it's both. It's both. You get the motivation and you keep that fire going with discipline.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
It means we need to have the discipline also and the motivation also at the same time with a perfect proposition.
Yeah, they're not. It's not this thing of one or the other. It's like you get motivation, discipline keeps that motivation firing, and if that motivation flame runs out, you keep that fire going with your discipline. I look at motivation sometimes also like a dream. It's like your goal, your dream, your where you want to be. And if you don't have that kind of dreamer goal or outset, you just don't chase it. You don't have anything to be disciplined about, because I think way too often you can feel like life is meaningless if you don't have a goal. And then so what? You might wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym, go to do your ice bath challenge, get up and do the second gym, eat well. And then if you have no purpose for that, no drive, no motivation, no goal, you just look back and go, what's the point of doing all of this discipline? That's why I think you need both.
Deep, very deep, intense conversation, getting more intense. Like motivation is the like, okay, what happens? People need a motivation to do something. It's a kind of invisible force that makes us to do the action, to have the things, to get things done. But at the end, what I'm thinking is like people when you have something which makes you happy, there is no point of having motivation. Like suppose I need to, I have a motivation of playing badminton. So I didn't even see badminton as the work or something that I need to have the motivation for it. It's a enjoyable thing for me. So what does it mean? If you find something that makes you happy, that market also demanding, you're completely fine on your shoes, because it's if you have that kind of happiness to doing something like.
No, I know what you mean. So I think there's a danger. I mean, I actually saw. I mean, it's so funny when we were talking about clips and seeing this. I saw a clip of Hermosi talking about saying that it was one of his recent ones saying that we've got passion wrong, because if you want to do what makes you happy, you'll end up hating it. And I felt so much understanding in that. I for the longest period in my life, I'm a singer and a guitarist, and I am damn good at both. I'm not going to lie. Like I know I'm good. I've been a singer for most of my life, and I'm a very, very good singer. And because of that, I thought that that's the thing that I loved. But when it came to actually doing the discipline and the hard work of it, when it came to doing it day in, day out, when it came to performing at 10 p.m. at night in bars, and it came to the drunken people around there, I didn't actually love it as much. It started hurting me, because it was this private thing that I really liked myself, but to do it as work, it killed me. It killed me because it wasn't work. I didn't want it to be work. And sometimes work isn't fun. And then when you have what makes you happy and you do it as a job, you actually end up taking away the thing that is your hobby or the thing that you love to do, and you end up trying to put work into it.
Oh.
And I'm starting to think that it's not necessarily about finding what you love and putting money into it, because that kind of sometimes ruins what you love. Sometimes you can actually have things that you love and hold it just for you. But I think you get a lot more mileage by getting really good at something that sometimes you can hate it.
Initially, it means
I'm really good at, like I said.
Initially you started doing it as it's your hobby, like you are getting happiness from it. But what happens when you are getting paid for that you love to do, and after some months or weeks or year, you have to, if you even don't want to do that as a hobby or as a thing that makes you happy, but you still need to do, because it's starting making money out of it. So it's now become your job, not being happy, right? What do you know?
100%.
What do you think?
100%. So I think a lot of this motivational places say do what makes you happy. It's like, no, I think do what you're good at and makes you happy enough. And then keep what makes you happy for when you really need the time to be happy. You know what I mean? There's nothing more I love now that when I'm really like agitated, I'll go and write a song, and it's so cool that I don't have to release that song.
Oh.
It's for me. It's not for anyone else. I can actually do that, and it might be the best thing in the world, but it doesn't freaking matter. It's not for the world. I do enough for the world in the work that I do, because I'm good at that as well, and I can hate it sometimes, and that's okay, because that's work. But you get it done because it's work. But you've got to separate like the things you really, really love, and maybe you have to protect them, because I think if you don't protect what you really, really love and just turn it into work, then all of life is depressed. Then you have nothing for you.
So we should keep our hobbies away from the monetization that you are trying to
keep your hobbies. Yeah,
that's the thing.
100%. And you know what? Like find something that you're good at, something that you want to be good at, or something that you could see yourself. Like I find that when I went to film school after the whole music thing, I went to film school, and my second class was screenwriting, and the teacher asked everybody to choose the script that they've been writing for years to bring it into class so that we can work on it. But the problem was, she should have told us to bring a new script in, because everybody in that room hated the task because she went and broke down the script into something that it wasn't in the first place. She broke down everyone's dream script into workable. No, it needs to have a beginning, a middle, and end. It needs to have plot points. It needs to have a hero's journey. It needs to have this and this and this. And everybody hated that screenwriting class. And I just thought, if we started from a clean slate, something that was separate from the thing you loved, everyone would understand it, that you wouldn't fight back as much because you would then, it's not destroying what you love. And I think that analogy is really simple here. I don't know what the answer is fully. Like, I don't know if it's finding something you're really good at or finding something you can become good at. But I do think we have to protect what we love and not just work. I think we have to change that myth or change that thinking that to live the best life, you must find the thing you love the most and put money behind it. That doesn't work. I don't think that works.
Right.
It works for some people, but there's loads of people out there who get very depressed because of it. And I think, what's the point in that?
Okay.
What's the point in that?
Right. There is no point to do that. That's okay. One more question that its question is coming from my heart because people are not able to define their success. Like some kind of people have this kind of like they define success to the numbers or to the money. They relate their success to the money. But sometimes it is a different context. Like some you have to success in your relationship, you have to success in your career, you have to success in different something things. But at the end of the day, what is success and how we can strategically define it and achieve it? And what is success for you?
I think this is something that everyone struggles with because my belief is that it's actually fundamentally a human thing. It's part of who we are. We literally, I believe that we have evolved because we're probably the only creature out there that isn't happy with the current state. And so we want to make a better state and a better state and a better state and a better state. So one, I think that's fundamentally human. I think that's who we are. But how we make that work for us is, I think, we actually work on the things that we want to work on. And I think a successful life is one where you don't look back and you regret. You know that you've actually put everything into it. You don't look back and go, you know what, I actually just sat on the couch and binged Netflix and played games and in actual fact, I could have been learning a new skill. I could have done this. I could have done that. So a successful life really is when you get to a certain point and you know that you've done so much and you've done everything that you could have, because you know that, there was nothing else that you left on the table. You didn't leave any chips behind. You didn't leave any energy in the bank. You just went for it. You chose something and you went for it. And you can change your career 100 times. You can go from earning zero to whatever. But if you follow what's really logical and heart, and you follow that and you follow those steps and you don't push anything away, I think you'll look back and you realize you had a really good life. I think.
Success will be the dynamic, right?
Yeah, I think success comes with, it comes with, it just comes with following. I can only speak to myself, I think when I was younger, it was vanity metrics. So it was like, I wanted the likes, the views and everything like that. And I got it in my life. I got it about 5 years ago. There was a huge period where I got 100,000 followers in 6 weeks and about 30 million views. But it was all doing something I didn't like. It was all doing something that in the end, I felt I really was boring to me. And now I look back and I like those numbers mean nothing. They mean nothing because they're just numbers on a paper. They're numbers on a screen. It means nothing until, and I knew that I could have been doing something else. And I think that's the thing. So, yeah,
Right.
it's success. It's literally, success is just pushing yourself and following and living life, love. Getting married this year, I look at that as my biggest successful point.
Like success is something that, like, if you are defining your success for the numbers, I will tell you one thing. Like, if you are starting defining your success with the help of the numbers, so you start hating them. Like, suppose anyone is a creator and who want to have 1 million subscriber on their YouTube channel, okay, and it's his goal or it's just a target, And when you are not completing, when you are completing the target, and when you are not completing the target while in the process, you start hating yourself because you are not there. You are not have the 1 million subscribers. And when you hit that 1 million subscriber with the dedication, with the motivation, and with any other thing, guess what? There is a next target to achieve.
I think there's something that that people forget as well in the chasing of the goal is you might not actually like it. A lot of times these goals we put, like 1 million subscribers, or for me it was like I had a goal of writing a feature film script, and I did, and it was one of the hardest things I ever did. But you realize that the end goal is really another vanity metric, because you want it done and you want the praise for it, but you don't actually want the work that comes with it. Because guess what? I'll give you the example of this writing a feature film script. I wanted to say, oh, look, I wrote a feature film script. But the work that it takes every single day was hard and not fun. And it was literally like drawing blood from a stone. It's not fun work. You sit there and then you have to rewrite the thing, and then you go again, and then you get back to it. And I didn't like being a writer. I don't mind. I mean, I might do some writing later on, but I didn't love it. It wasn't the job I wanted to do every day. I was more in love with the finished product than the work. And that's the backwards way around. You've got to be in love with the work that gets the finished product, not the actual finished product, because that's just living in societies, what you think you should have, what society thinks you should have, all of that. Fall in love with what that job looks like day by day.
Right. Like we should have the fun in the process and not get obsessed to the results, because at the end when you got your destination is not have that kind of fun that you have in the process. So I believe in that.
Well, look. I always believe people should have a destination. 100% people should have a destination.
Yes.
But you can't just have the destination.
Yes.
You have to have the destination and also love the process to get there.
Hey.
You know, it's like me going back to the music. You know, if you want to be a musician,
Hey.
you got to fall in love with being up at 10 p.m. at night with all the drinking and that scene. If you don't like that scene, you know, I mean, of course, different nowadays with content, but it's the job. You've got to love the day-to-day job. And if you don't love the day-to-day job and you just want the 1 million subscribers, let's say if you want 1 million subscribers, you're a YouTuber, but you hate filming videos.
Hey.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
You got to love filming videos.
That's the thing, that we should have the fun in the process and focus on the process, not in just having that goal. And if I doesn't have that kind of goal, it means I'm hating myself. It's the worst thing that anybody can do in their journey or in their career.
For sure.
That's the thing. So last question would be,
Sure.
what kind, like you have a 10 years of experience in this creator economy, and I just wanted to know what kind of lessons you have and what kind of lessons you would like to give to the audience, what mistakes that you made and you want people will do the same thing.
I think it's very much along the lines of that last question. It's look at what you're doing. And if we're going to relate it to content, be authentic and just be you. So if you're a coffee shop who really hates social media, you don't have to hate social media. If you enjoy talking to people, you can just put a camera on and talk to people. And it's not about trying to follow trends. It's not about this. It's being authentic, being authentically you. And you'll get better as you do it. All the other stuff come along. And just don't be worried about the numbers. If you have 200 views, that's 200 people you're talking to, and you can generate a lot of income from just seeing 200 people seeing your product in a day. It's not about the numbers. It's about, do you enjoy it? Can you make something out of it? Can you get better every day? And if I started that earlier, I would have loved that, but I'm starting it now. Not starting it, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
It's the life that I live by now, but you know, it's just not chasing views and being an authentic. For you.
Yes, for me. Yes, sir.
Don't worry about the views and be authentic.
That's the thing that I expect from you.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I'll tell it to everybody. Don't worry about the views and be authentic. I think also, like, if you have something if you have a gut feeling about a direction to go in and it also backs up in your logic, follow that, you know? Here's my dog getting ready for
the walks. That's the thing.
the dog's just like, you're talking.
I think so. He's the guy
That's,
who makes you happy for some time. Your dog. Thank you so much, Alessandro, that you came to the podcast and share a lot of insights and your experience on some kind of thoughts that people get confused a lot on, like a motivation, discipline. And thank you so much for giving your insights. It's a great thing that we are a newbies and you are the senior that teaching us some mistakes that you made and that you won't want us to make the same thing again. Thank you so much.
Not a problem at all. Thank you for having me.
Okay. And just come to India once. I will also try to come to Germany.
I'm moving. I'm leaving Germany. So
where you're going to go now?
I'm going to Spain next. I'm going to go live in Spain in a 1 month's time.
Yeah, okay, we will come to there also.
If you come to Spain, you can come visit.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.